Hi everyone, welcome back to Canva. On this tutorial, we will talk about podcasts. Yes, we will cover how you can create a podcast cover and podcast images that you can use to promote your episodes into social media. So let's start first with a cover. A podcast cover, as I mentioned, by standard is 3000 by 3000 pixels. That is 1:1, which makes it a square. You can also do the minimum size of 1400 by 1400, but I'm gonna go with the 3000. So I've already pulled up a document right here, and also some of my previous project. These are the covers I did for some of my clients. So it's called Women's Wellness Podcast and The Truth Unplugged with Dr. Jen. So there are things that you need to consider when doing a cover. Okay, first is you need to stay on brand, because since this is your podcast, this is going to be like a voice of your brand. So you might want to consider still using your own brand colors, fonts, and style. However, with the colors, you might want to use high contrasting colors to make sure they will pop up. And for the text, you can just put in a very short podcast title. We don't want to overdo the cover with a lot of text. We don't want that. We want something that pops out and then delivers the message right away. So I'm gonna show you how I will make one to show you how it's done. Let's just pretend that I have a podcast and I'm gonna name it DIY Your Brand. And I'll be using my brand colors for that. Okay, so let's get started. So I got the document right here. I'm going to pull up a rectangle. And I'm going to use this one right here. 1 second. For the background, let me just... Okay. And then I'm going to add some text. Podcast is auditory, meaning to say you'll just have to listen to it, but that's not true, because the very first thing that your audience will experience will be your cover, and it will determine the success of your podcast, because it's whether you or not was able to attract the user to listen to your content. So if you have a high converting graphic, a graphic that really stands out, the users will click on your cover and take a look on what you've got. So that your cover is a way to attract more listeners. So let's continue in this 1 second. So DIY your brand. So first I'm gonna use a different font, a font that will make my text really stand out. So I want that. This one I'm gonna change it to Okay, doesn't look really right. Okay, let me just try something else. T I Y, your brand. Okay, I think that's much better. So let me just change it to this one too, to 400. And I'm gonna adjust the spacing. Alright, there you go. So I'm actually good with this because I just wanted the title of my podcast. But I use a simple font to make it really easier to read, and a bold one so that it will pop up. And a high contrasting border. I can actually just use that one and change this into like this, into white. Something like that. So what you need for a cover is a simple one, but really pops up. So let me show you some examples. Okay, so I got it right here. So look at that. They're just really simple. Don't need to be really flashy, but you can clearly read the title of the podcast. And right here, Garvey Audio Experience. And then like spring flowers to grow in your garden. So yep. And then Writerly, for writers by writers. Awesome. It's a cute title. So yeah, you need to come up with a really good podcast title. And this one too. See how simple they are. They're like logos, but more on just talking about what the podcast is. So the Mission Daily, so cute. The Startup Show. Okay, that's it. So once you're good with your podcast cover, make sure you save it as a PNG or a JPEG file. Then that you're good to go. Okay, so now let's proceed with your podcast image that you can use to promote on your social media. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my home and use the Instagram post, the one at that 1080 by 1080 pixels, because I can use this size on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So let's pull up an Instagram post document. Okay, right here. So okay, if we go back to my cover, it's pink and white. So on my image, I also wanted to do the same color. So I'm gonna do pink and then white. So okay, and then I'm gonna put in some text. DIY, your brand. And I'm gonna use the same font that I did for my cover to make it cohesive. Change it to, okay, there should not be an underscore, it should just be like that. Oops. So I'm gonna place it right there, then, or move it like this. 1 second. Just pull up a square. Okay, now I'm gonna pull up a circle. It's going to be a frame, a round frame, because I wanted to put in my image right there. Okay, there. So let me bring up some photos. Okay, uploads. Where's my image? Okay, I need to go to my folders to grab some image for me. Okay, where's my name? Okay, there you go. Oops. I'll just make it a little bit smaller. And then you can say, excuse me, make it smaller. Okay, go back to elements. And I'm gonna get some triangle. Turn that into white. Or maybe change that into the pink, the other pink on my brand. Okay, it doesn't look really nice. Hang on. And then let's just leave it that way. And then I'm gonna do a button that says episode number 1. So I'll just pull up a rectangle. And then also another square. 1 second. Yep, I'm gonna make it white. Okay, and move it to the back. Is it right here? Or I'm gonna do like this. Okay, then add a text that says episode. I'm going to turn it to black. Episode number 00. Sorry, 01. So it's the first episode, And then I'm gonna put in a play icon. So, like it's a button, and then so just an indicator that this is like an audio. So I'm gonna use that. Put it right at the center, or you can put it right here. I don't like that icon. Maybe use this one instead. Okay, I better leave that off that way. But the point here is that when you make your image, just put in the title of your podcast, your image, if you have, or the image of your guest speaker, and then the episode number. And if there is a title of that episode, you can go ahead and include that. Alright, that's how you make cover and podcast image to promote on your social media. So this one, once you're done with your promotional graphic, then you can just reuse it again, and then do episode number 02, and then replace the image here. If you have a guest speaker, then you can just replace that, and you reuse the template as you'll have more episodes to come. So you can it will save you time. Then save it as PNG as well. For social media, it is highly recommended to save your files as a PNG. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.